Today I have some sweet summer fruit DIYs for you. Welcome to the Chic Show. Today's playlist is hosted by Rustic and Lace DIY and Krista's Crafty Life. Be sure and check out their channels and the playlist in the description box below. Now let's get crafting. This is one of Dollar Tree's mason jar cutouts from fall, and I'm just removing the paper on the front side, and I'll cover that with craft paper later. I'm going to be painting on the back side in Ivory by Waverly. This is a little sign that I thrifted, and I'm going to be breaking off the stand and setting that aside. I'm also going to remove the rest of that little dowel on the back, but I'm going to cover up the shopping with black chalk paint. Dollar Tree has had some wood tags like this before, but this one was a little bit larger than those, so I wanted the larger one. Now I'm also going to be using one of these napkins. I believe this is from Dollar General, and I've cut out one of the quadrants and removed one of the plies. I'm just going to be using one of these. With a wet paintbrush, I'm going to tear along one side of the napkin. This will allow it to fit nicely in the corner of that mason jar. You could use Mod Podge for this part, but I'm using DIY's liquid patina, and I'm painting that onto the mason jar and then placing down my napkin, and then I'll paint that liquid patina on top of the napkin as well. I'll let it set aside to dry. Now I'm going to be using some of my IOD stamps. Some are the apothecary stamps and some are the insignia stamps. I'm using a white ink pad from Hobby Lobby to stamp on the words, "Summer is my jam." Now these little square letter stamps actually are from Dollar General or Dollar Tree one. When I get to the word jam, I'm starting from the right edge and I'm stamping backwards so that I get my letters right where I want them. Now that this piece is dry, I'm sanding off the excess napkin from around the edges. Remove the metal part from the front of this piece, and now I am hot gluing it onto the back where I've painted. Now I'll use some hot glue and glue on my label. I felt like this needed a little bit more, so I had this little wood pineapple, and I'm going to be painting it with the two colors you see here. I'm using some of this green and yellow twine from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to string that pineapple to the top of my jar and tie a bow. To keep that bow in place, I'm going to add just a little dot of hot glue, and then this project is complete. Now I'm breaking out the model magic. I'm going to be kneading this together and adding a little bit of orange paint. This is a bit messy, but you can color your model magic this way to any color that you want. You can also use a magic marker to do this. Once I get this kneaded together, I'm rolling together about 3 little balls, and then I'm going to try my best to come up with a peach shape. I didn't realize how difficult making a shape like a peach would actually be. But once I got them like I wanted them, I used this little sprig of greenery and cut off one leaf to put in the top of each peach. Next, I took a few wooden beads and I painted some of them with this lighter orange paint that I mixed together. And you can see I'm using Waverly Pumpkin and Waverly Snow White that I've mixed together there to make that color. I'm also going to be painting a bead with the orange pumpkin paint as well. This is a little wooden scoop that I think I got from Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to be using some watered down Waverly Antique wax to stain it. I'm also going to be drilling a hole into the top of the scoop so that I can string on my wood beads. I want to add a small tag as well, so I'm using this popsicle stick and I'm just cutting a wedge into the bottom of it. It did split just a little bit, but the paint's really going to cover that up. I painted it with white chalk paint and then I stamped on the words "Just Peachy" backwards again from the bottom side up to the top, peachy and then just, and then I cut it to the size I wanted and drilled a hole in the top. I'm going to be using some jute twine to thread through the tag as well as the wood beads and the scoop. I'm going to glue my peaches into my scoop, but actually Model Magic sticks to itself really well, so I put them together to kind of hold them together before I actually glued them in. And just to finish it off, I made a little orange bow and I'm going to glue that to the top. I've had this little ladder that I thrifted in my stash for a while, and I'm going to be adding some of these lemons to the ladder. The lemons, I believe, are from Dollar General, or they might be from Dollar Tree, but I think Dollar General. And I'm going to be cutting it to the size that I want, and then I'm going to use some jute twine to tie it onto the ladder. That way I can remove it at a later date. I gathered together some yellow, white, green, and black ribbons so that I could make a messy bow. Just cutting those into the length that I want, and then I'm going to crisscross them over each other and tie all of those little pieces together. I added this little black and white gingham bow to the center. I used white jute twine to tie my lemons onto the ladder so that the twine would be a little bit more inconspicuous. Finally, I can glue on my ribbon. Summer wouldn't be complete without a watermelon. So I'm going to be making a watermelon from this wood heart from Dollar Tree. I'm filling in that hole at the top with some hot glue and then I'll sand away the top. Once that's complete, I'm going to be using Waverly chalk paint in Crimson. I'm just painting the bottom portion of this so that I leave room at the top for the watermelon rind. So I'm painting the front, sides, and back. Once the red paint is dry, I'm adding on the green in Fern by Waverly to the top. Now I'm filling in that little gap in between the rind and the watermelon with a little bit of Waverly chalk paint in Snow White. For my watermelon seeds, I'm using a Sharpie to draw those in. The seeds are complete. I'm going to give everything a little bit of a sand around the edges and all, and I added a little bit of twine to the top. Just a little reminder for you to check out my website at laschicshop.com, and also you can find me on Instagram and Facebook. I would love to have you over there as well. Thanks again to our lovely hosts, and if you're looking for more inspiration, check out this video right here. Thanks so much for watching. Remember to share the chic. Bye now.